Today I thought it would be fun to go back down to Disney World with us. When we were down there, last time we were down together was last January, and we were thinking about putting together the YouTube channel and what did we want to do. So we actually took a lot of video clips of us talking about photography, different things in Disney, but they're really not long enough for a whole video. So today I thought I would splice together some of these little video clips we had. They're not long, maybe a minute, 2 minutes, some of them a few seconds. But put them all together and it might be fun to walk around Walt Disney World with us. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate that. And if you like what we're doing here on the channel, please subscribe and click the little notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video. We've been uploading them every Wednesday and Sunday. Okay, let's get into the video here. So I'm over here shooting Spaceship Earth, and I want to get that little bit of sun peeking out from over the top of Spaceship Earth. So this is a time that you would actually stop down your lens and close down your aperture. So to get that sun star effect at the top of the image, like I'm going to show you here, you have to stop down. I'm at f20 for this shot. If I was shooting at f4, the sun would just be a bright, kind of just like a bright light at the top without any definition. But when you shoot at a small aperture, what you're doing is you're really closing it down, and depending on how many aperture blades you have in your lens, that's how many points you're going to get on the sun star that you have. So it's a really cool way to get some nice shots with the sun just peeking around different things.
If you've been following me around online for a while, you know that I love to shoot with prime lenses. A prime lens is a lens that's a fixed focal length. This, for example, is 35 millimeters. It doesn't zoom, it doesn't change focal lengths, it's just one focal length, 35 millimeters. One of the advantages to having a fixed focal length lens, like a prime lens, is that it's able to actually operate with a wider aperture. So the maximum aperture on this is 1.4. A typical high-end zoom lens will have a maximum aperture of 2.8. This actually opens 2 stops wider than that. One of the great advantages of that is that it allows 2 stops more light in, which can be really great in dark situations. It also allows you to blur backgrounds much more than you can with a 2.8 lens or an even smaller aperture like f8 or f16. So we just happened to be walking along through Canada. I saw a cute little scene here with 3 empty glasses on a table with a nice background. You have the fence from Canada, you have the lagoon behind it, some boats going by, so I figured I'd take a shot here. I'm going to take a shot at f11, which is just a typical small aperture, f2.8, which is your typical zoom lens, your high-end zoom lens. The maximum aperture of those is 2.8. I'll take a shot at that, and I'm going to take a shot open wide up at 1.4, and I'm going to show you the difference in depth of field between those 3, and you'll see what really a difference makes. Even just 2 stops going from 2.8 to 1.4, how much of a difference that really makes. So my first shot I'm just going to compose here at f11. Stop it, open it up then to 2.8. And then take the same shot open wide at 1.4. So you can see what a difference it really makes just opening it up 2 extra stops. That's one of the reasons. There are many. That's one of the reasons why I love shooting prime lenses.
What are you actually trying to do?
I'm trying to get really close to the water, landing in and jumping out of this marvelous fountain. It's very hard to do. I think we might have one.
All right.
Good morning. Welcome to the Magic Kingdom. We're going to have a full fun day here. We have a bunch of things we want to shoot, a bunch of things we want to talk about, and it's the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so it's a good day so far. It's actually warming up a little bit, which is good, and very nice day so far. I wanted to talk for a second about Epcot last night. We closed out the park, but it was an extra Magic Hours night last night, and we ended up being able to stay in the World Showcase till 11 o'clock, but under the normal park hours. We didn't have to stay late, we didn't have to get rushed out by security.
So all those people who were there for until 9 o'clock closing were already gone. Anyone there who was for extra Magic Hours, it was cold. The whole World Showcase area was really emptied out. We really had the park to ourselves for like 2 hours before the park even closed.
Yeah, so if you're looking to get those empty park shots that we get sometimes, try extra magic hours at the end of the night. Okay, might be a good time for you.
The People Mover is the perfect vehicle for people watching.
So what I'm doing here is I'm actually using motion to make the people mover look like it's going really fast. The way I'm doing this is I have a filter on and I'm blocking out light so I can again extend the time I can leave the shutter open. So the People Mover car is stationary, so I rest it on there and everything in front of me is blurring and it creates a really cool look.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
There's a little nook and cranny here where you can get a cool shot of the train coming through. So let's see if Eric can nail this one. Here it comes. It's coming. How's that? Light's a little harsh.
A little harsh.
Refurbishments, something you have to deal with here sometimes. But you can check Disney's site before you come and they'll let you know what's going to be closed, when it's going to be closed, and how long it's going to be closed for. Usually right after the holidays and right after the summer are times where you're going to find the most closures. That's when they fix, paint, just make everything look good for the busier times of the year. So check the Disney.com site and you'll be able to figure out what's going to be open on your trip. So here we are at our favorite spot to take sunset pictures, and we're not going to get a good sunset tonight. This is one of the things about photography that is frustrating and a challenge, and why we continue to keep doing it. Sometimes there's an amazing sunset in a location, and sometimes there isn't.
Even though it's a beautiful day, no rain, there's no clouds in the sky, which means there's nothing to catch that beautiful sunlight as the sun is setting, which is what gives you the great sunset. You have the clouds and the sun is breaking through and changing all different colors, oranges, pinks, and everything. Without clouds, you'd have none of that. So the sun is basically going to go down, and it's just going to be gone.
And that's it.
That's it.
We about 2 years ago, we were in this exact same spot, and we sat here for 2 hours, and we took quite a few pictures. These are some of them, and this one, and this one. These were all taken on the same night. 2 hours, perfect sky, everything was great. So we're going to hang out here for a little while longer, and we may get something afterwards. There's always the blue hour, which is after the sun sets, the sky starts to turn dark, but the camera picks up all the blue in the sky and it looks great.
Right. Even though the sky is dark, it's not nighttime black dark. It still has a lot of blue in it. So it's kind of more evenly balanced with the lighting on the castle, the lighting on Main Street. All of that is lit up, but the sky isn't dark yet. It still has some color in it.
So this is an exercise in patience. And a lot of photography is just that. So don't get frustrated if you go to a spot that you heard is supposed to be spectacular and it's cloudy or there's nothing to take a picture of. It's just all part of the deal.
Try again tomorrow.
If you look over my left shoulder, you'll see the crane that they used to put on all of the Christmas dream lights that we all love so much. But if you come here, the end of the summer up until about October, you're going to see that the crane will be in a lot of your photographs when you take them down Main Street. They're pretty good with it. They try to keep it from being up all day long, and at nighttime when they do the fireworks shows, they put it down. But just know that, and also January, February, the crane is here to take the lights off the castle. So just something to think about when you're planning your trip.
Day number 3 of our photo odyssey here, and we're going to head over to Animal Kingdom this morning. Just a couple of thoughts. Last night they had a special event at the Magic Kingdom where if you paid a premium price, you had access to all the rides for an extra 3 hours past park opening. And the park closed at 8 o'clock. But if you were there during the day and you wanted to stay, you could. There was no restrictions other than that you couldn't go on the rides. So for us, it was great.
right?
Yeah, we spent 3 hours walking around. The park was pretty empty because, you know, not that many people are paying for this event, especially on a cold night. So we really had access to the whole park to walk around, do whatever we wanted to, take pictures of everything, go into restaurants, go into other areas, everything except for the rides, which was great.
So we were able to shoot around from 8 o'clock until about 11 with very few people in the park, and you know, it was nice to not have to get chased out by security. We just left when the park actually closed.
It was nice. It was fairly empty, it was nice and quiet, and we had access to the whole park.
Yeah, so that's, you know, it's an expensive event. I think it was about $100 a person if you wanted to pay, but you had, every ride was a walk-on, and I'd say the bulk of them were open, right?
Yep.
Okay, off to Animal Kingdom. Eric and I have been coming here for a long time. This is one of the most crowded days we've ever had in Animal Kingdom.
And we really don't know why.
It's a Saturday in the middle of January, so who knows?
It's been very cold here, and this is actually a really beautiful day, so
Maybe that's it. Who knows? This is just another example of using motion. Eric's going to take a shot of this waterfall here, and you can apply these techniques to any waterfall, anywhere you are, Niagara Falls, you know, if you happen to be in a national park or anywhere you happen to be. All you need is a tripod, just something to keep your camera still, and depending on the time of day and the amount of light, you may need an ND filter to actually slow the shutter enough, like we were talking about in some of the other videos. So Eric's going to take some of these shots and we'll drop them into the video here. Those gorillas are pretty awesome. I know. None. That's what happens sometimes when you're shooting wild animals. But I wanted to talk about the lens I use when we do shooting like this, when you're shooting, you know, when you're out in the wild or even in a contained environment, you want to get close to something that you can't physically get close to. We use a telephoto lens. So this is a 70 to 200, which is a very common focal length for a telephoto lens. And this will bring everything in closer, whereas opposed to, I was using yesterday a 16 to 35, which is going to spread out your scene. We use those for wide landscape shots. So we did actually get a few good shots of the gorilla, and I'm going to drop them in here. This way you can you can take a look at, you know, how close you can get to these animals. And we were probably 100 feet away from them, maybe more. And this lens lets you bring them right in. And a couple of things about this lens. It's stabilized. The further in you zoom, the more chance you're going to actually see camera shake in your shot. So the image stabilization lets you, it actually will let you shoot at a slower shutter speed than you normally would be able to without it and still get a sharp shot. Typically, with any lens, you want your shutter speed to be at least as fast as your focal length. So, for example, if I'm shooting at 70 millimeters here, I want 1/70th of a second shutter speed at least in order to get a sharp shot. So when I zoom in, my shutter speed needs to go up also. The stabilization will actually let me shoot at a slower shutter speed, maybe 1/60th of a second, even at 200 millimeters. And usually on a bright day like this, it's not a problem. You can, you know, your shutter speed is not going to be an issue. But if you're in a low light situation, shooting a show, maybe you're at a concert, kids' performances in gymnasiums and school auditoriums are notoriously dark. So having a stabilized lens will really help you in situations like that.